Hey guys, I'm Lexa, and this is the Black Wolf Podcast. It's a space where we sit down with the artists, clients, and local legends that make our community what it is: raw, creative, and real. Let's get into today's episode. Okay, so today I'm sitting down with someone who's been in my life since before I can remember, one of my good friends and unofficial big brother, Aaron Scully. We have grown up together, our mums were best friends, and we even lived in the same complex. We have been through heartbreaks together, some of life's toughest challenges, and some really big moves, and even living on the Gold Coast together at one point. So Aaron's journey is wild, from a tough upbringing to finding his way boxing at an elite level, and then to an NRL performance coach with the Newcastle Knights, and now running his own business, the IPerform Lab. He's a dad, he's a mentor, and his last name he has spelt wrong pretty much his whole life. But we're fixing that, we're lasering that. So let's find out about how that all happened. This one is a personal one. It's inspiring. It's full of stories that show you how far grit and determination can really get you in life. So, Aaron, let's get into today's episode. All right, let's start with how you were as a kid, where you grew up, what childhood was like.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Okay, so I think I was a good kid. I think I was well mannered. I was very energetic. I just played every sport. I wanted to be the best at every sport. Everything from dancing to...
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to bring that up.
We can chat about
Yeah,
that.
I will.
It's something I don't tell unless people ask me.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I wonder how many people know.
Nah.
Yeah, but I will. It's in there.
But yeah, I love fighting. We can talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, I was a good kid, and I had a great childhood, probably up until the age of 7 or 8, and then that's where I started to have some tricky memories.
Yeah. From like starting in Sydney, because you grew up in Sydney.
Grew up in Sydney, yeah. Grew up in St. Clair in Western Sydney, and then my parents split. I think I would have been 6 or 7. Yeah, that was a tricky time, which I'm sure we'll go into. But yeah, for the most, like those really young years, really good.
How old are you when you moved to the coast?
Yeah, so when I moved to the coast, I was 13 or 14.
Yeah.
I remember I was in year 9.
Talia was like in year 3.
She was
like year 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And you're 6 years apart.
Yeah. Just under 6 years apart. Yeah.
So we were only young.
We were only young, yeah.
Yeah. So we grew up like siblings, pretty much. What are from when we were young, really young, and we lived in the same complex and back in Wombi?
Yeah.
What are some memories around that time that you kind of remember?
Yeah. Well,
good or bad?
That was probably the back end of a really, really tough time in my life, which has probably formed the reason why we moved up. When I say my life, our life, because it was Talia, my sister, myself and my mum. So it was hard for all of us, not just me. I guess one positive memory I can remember is your dad bringing your mum a bunch of flowers to say sorry for maybe an argument or something that you guys had. I just remember opening the door and Wayne was there with a big bunch of flowers, and then your mum was in there having a wine with my mum, and she come out.
Probably trying to be stubborn as well, being like,
yeah. Had a cuddle. Such a legend, your dad.
Yeah, man. Even his apologies, I still like reference them to the kids.
Yeah.
He used to, if they like had a blow up, my dad would bring me flowers as well as mum.
That's so funny.
And he'd always like, and if mum was upstairs, he'd come through first and he'd bring me I remember I used to feel like a princess. Like I didn't even realize, like as a kid, you don't realize parents, like you realize they're fighting, but you don't realize like the necessity of an apology back then. You know what I mean? And I remember my dad like bringing me flowers if he brought my mum home flowers and like apologizing to me, and I was just like, man, I just got flowers.
That's one. When you ask me that question, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Which is pretty about us, our family.
Yeah, if we think about all the dark times, at least we had him around to make everything funny.
Yeah, man. He was a light, that guy. Yeah. I guess some of the darker times was, I was how old was I? I was 13 to 16 or 17 when I lived at that house, and Yeah, I used to, obviously, I was into some bad stuff. I was into drugs, and I used to fight a lot. When I moved up, I was probably pretty angry, had a bit of a chip on my shoulder.
Did you get angry like around, was it like around the time parents split or
No, I don't think so. I think
just
the,
that
the reason we moved up,
shift?
the reason we moved up was because if we go back in the story,
Yeah. As far as you want to go, whatever
yeah,
you want to go into.
let's go back to the start.
Yeah.
I'm happy to share it. It's probably the whole point we're here. But Mum suffered depression, really, really bad depression. She worked so hard to support me and my sister, and she really struggled at times. She had a second marriage that kind of fell apart after my dad. There was I can remember a lot of violence in that marriage. Like I said, she suffered a lot with depression. You know, we kind of seen it.
Which I reckon though, like, as an adult now, like that we're older, I feel like now you sort of get it heaps more, you know, like
Yeah,
especially from a parent, like,
Yeah.
fuck, no wonder like they struggled or like my
Yeah.
mum struggled bad when like my dad passed, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
now we're
yeah.
grown up, you kind of get it. Like, especially back then, there was a lot of violence like in your mum's relationship and stuff,
Yeah.
but there was no talk about domestic violence back then.
Nah,
you know, there wasn't
nah.
even really talk about depression.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was no Facebook being like, speak out, be loud, be proud. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It was like,
yeah.
so
And
it would
I
have
s-
been hard.
I still, like, I understand it now. I still don't, like, I personally haven't suffered that. I can sympathise with the way it makes somebody feel based off what I see my mum go through,
Yeah,
I
for
guess.
sure.
Yeah, so she was going through a lot, and, you know, she tried to end it a couple of times when we were in Sydney, and that was, I guess, the last time that happened. I think it was about 2 or 3 times. The last time that happened, it was quite serious, and I found you know, letters which I still haven't read. She had to go away to a rehab facility for a little while there, and it was just a really tough time, I guess, looking back, for young kids to go through. I did
For
try to
sure.
shield my sister from it a little bit, but that is one of the reasons why we just moved up to the coast, just to have this restart.
Yeah.
And we come up here, and
And a different support network kind of thing too.
yeah, well, I
For your
mean,
mum.
yeah, that's right. Just a
Yeah.
refresh. Beachside suburb. We'd been up here on holidays before, and I loved it. So yeah, so we moved up here, and I guess was good for a little while, but then I started to turn into a teenager and get into a bit of mischief, fighting drugs. I sold drugs. That was one of the ways I really helped support our family.
Gnarly.
I remember
How old
buying
were you?
Christmas. I think I was 15.
Oh my God.
I can remember we had no money for Christmas, no money for anything. Often no money for shopping, and I would go and just do the shopping. But I remember one particular Christmas, I actually bought Christmas, and that was a combination of me. I think I was doing a bit of labouring and selling drugs, and
Gnarly.
I'm saying this on a podcast. I can't believe it, but
I know.
that was
But fuck
how we had some really happy moments
Yeah,
on Christmas
right.
Day that
Fuck.
probably otherwise wouldn't have been there. But yeah, if I keep going, Mum had and I'm probably trying to give a bit of a quicker version, but Mum had a boyfriend at that time who was a bit younger, who was an alcoholic. He was nice at the start, but then
Yeah.
things started to get a little bit out of control, and there was, and I didn't like him, and I was probably 16 at the time.
Yeah, so you would have noticed it more, whereas we were kids. Like, to us, he was like,
Well, you
nice.
did,
Yeah.
yeah, Jono.
Yeah, to us, he was like, nice.
Yeah.
But then the more like our mums talk about it now,
Yeah.
it's like, actually, it's like the memories that we have. It's like, oh yeah, actually, I sort of realised that now. Like, certain things,
Yeah.
like how he would be, and that in my mind, I was like, he was nice to us. We were
Yeah.
little girls, you know what I mean? It was nice.
If I look
But
back at
then-
it, like, as he got more comfortable and as he was around for longer, he probably didn't hide
Yeah.
what he was like as much. So he
Yeah.
would start to say stuff to my mum, and then he'd start to, like, push me around, or he'd go off
Yeah.
with my sister. Whereas at the start he didn't do that.
Yeah, nah.
And
Making a
then
good impression.
yeah,
Yeah.
I started to see this, and I was just thinking, like, I remember I was younger. I was just confused. I guess I was, 16, I think, at the time, and I was transitioning into being a man.
Yeah,
I
I was
guess,
just about to say,
to, like,
super testosterone-y.
and then one day we had some family over, and he just blew up at my mum, and he was like going off at her. We had like some cousins over, or my mum's cousins, and they had two young girls, and they were seeing this. And then he said something to my sister, which just blew my mind. Like, obviously, you know how protective I am of my sister.
Yeah.
And I said something to him. I forget exactly what it was, and then he come over to me and he goes, "What are you gonna do?" And he was a big guy.
He was huge, yeah.
He was a big dude,
Yeah.
man. Like, he was, like, he'd got a hold of me a couple of times, and he was, yeah, big dude. And I just hit him. And then I hit him again.
I remember.
And then I remember, and they'll still to this day, and I've had a lot of fights. This is the best I've ever hit.
Yeah, because
anybody.
you had that much
Oh
fucking
my God.
rage. Like, actual, like, you know, like, when you're just
Yeah.
fighting, like, professionally, you're doing it for a sport, but
Yeah.
you had so much. Like, I've got goosebumps about it because I remember it. But,
That's
like,
the scar from his, that there, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the scar from his tooth.
yeah,
So that's with me still. It's been with me the whole time. But then I remember,
makes me teary.
yeah. So I hit him twice. I still remember we had this little cutout in the kitchen that would separate the kitchen from the dining table, and he kind of leant over that and said, "What are you going to do?" And I just went bang. And then, actually no, I hit him once, and then he come around into the kitchen, and I was like, "Oh, what do I do?" And there was one of those moments where you're like, "Do you like run from the bull, or do you take the bull by the horns?" And I was like,
well, yeah.
I'm boxed in the kitchen, and I remember I just hit him again, and then I hit him one more time, and I'll never forget this. He fell against the fridge. He's a big dude, so the fridge kind of moved, and there was, I think this was where I got the scar, but there was like blood going down the fridge from when he like hit and kind of like slid down a little bit. And then from there, I ran straight up to my room, up the stairs, shut the door. I used to have a knife in my room, which I'd use to, like, obviously when I smoked a bit of weed and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I stood there and I held the door with my knife. And I swear to God, if he had to come in,
Yeah, you would have
I
definitely reacted.
I would have definitely done it. Like,
Yeah.
that was, oh, it was like survival there, because
Yeah.
he was just, I remember him coming up the stairs, pushing mum, like just the
Horrific
neighbours all
time.
heard it.
Yeah.
Neighbours ended up coming in and stopping it, but he was trying to get in, and I was
Yeah.
holding the door so tight. And then police come, and it was quite a big scene, and that kind of really hit me. And I think, and I had dreadies down on my shoulders.
Yeah,
I used to smoke a bit, and that was when I just went. I remember the police having a chat with me up in my room, and
How's
yeah,
it like confronting too? Like, that's where it all.
yeah, well, like there
Yeah.
was chat of me being done for assault or something because
That's
of what I did.
What's fucked though? Like, not,
Yeah.
you know, but, you know.
But
like,
then they heard the story, and
Yeah.
we ended up moving out of that house, and there was still times after that this is what you probably don't know, but they kind of broke it off after that. He got taken away in a paddy wagon and yelling out, and it was, but there were times after that moment where I still heard him in the house. I think Mum had him over a
Like,
couple
she would sort of backslide and kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I used to lie in bed with the hammer just under my bed. Anyway, that stopped. We moved out, and when we moved our house, we lived behind a boxer. His name was True Waters. And I remember saying to myself, I just chopped off all my dreadies, and I went up and I knocked on his door and asked him to train me. And that was where all that kind of started.
Because I remember, man, you had so much rage. I remember when you had the boxing bag under the balcony. And I swear to God, if you were on that balcony and you were downstairs hitting, you thought that balcony was 1,000% going to give way.
Yeah,
That
I did have
was-
rage.
Yeah, like, but fair enough.
Yeah.
You were with the Waters and you got into boxing.
Yeah.
And then how did all that happen?
Yeah, well, so I remember going up. I used to hear him train, and I remember going up and knocking on his door. Troy was a big mentor of mine throughout life. He passed away, so I'm sure his wife and his kids might be listening to this, but I love that guy for everything he's done. But
Did you tell him your story when you first
yeah.
met him?
So I went up there. I said, look, I'm getting in a bit of trouble. Gave him a pretty quick version, and I said, I just want to box. And he said, right, we'll come around tomorrow at 4:30. We'll have a look here. And I never stopped. And like I knew I could fight.
Yeah.
Like I just had, I've
Man,
just
you were smashing doors in the house as
yeah.
well.
I got
Also,
this.
I think
Yeah.
perfect outlet for you.
For
kind
me,
of.
yeah, for sure. I knew, like, I wanted to do it for such a long time, but Mum would never let me.
Yeah.
Because she would, I don't know.
Well, because she's a mum. I think like it's a different,
Yeah.
especially of what she'd probably seen of you. She probably, I'll say it. Like I know that even with like me and Jack's young and whatever, and he's like 12, nothing, but like I was like training in Muay Thai and boxing years ago, and Jack would be like, I want to do boxing, but I was like, no, because it just made him. Fuck, man, he did karate and it just made him a little shit. Like, it made him think he was tough. So your mum was probably thinking, if I let you do boxing, especially the way...
It'd be worse.
Yeah, like that's a mum thing, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like you think, oh, that's too violent and I'm going to encourage you to be violent. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it definitely did the opposite, I reckon.
Oh, for me, yeah.
For you, and because you had the waters behind you sort of also telling you how serious to take it. Not like as a... don't use it to go out and fight people. Use it as a professionalism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't think I needed to prove to myself that I could fight or by fighting people. Like, I already knew.
Yeah.
I kind of went the other way. I did all that, and then I channeled it into boxing. Definitely, like, gave me discipline, help with my mental strength, untapped.
With all the stuff you've ever been through, have you ever done therapy?
I have done therapy before. Like, they started... when Mum was in like some rehab facilities and stuff, we did do some of that. I didn't really like it. Since then I have for sure. I've definitely spoke to people.
Yeah, good.
I found one lady that really helped me, but not helped me, but just good to have a chat with. But I never really found anyone else. Like boxing is my therapy.
Yeah.
The punching bag's the best psychologist I've ever had. It just sorts everything out.
Not really.
Honestly. Oh, it does. It does. And I think anyone who's done it will understand.
Nah, for sure. Tell us about your boxing career.
Oh,
highlights.
Yeah, I mean...
Heaps
of highlights.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if I ever reached my full potential, but... or maybe I did. But captaining my state, being selected by my peers to be the captain of my state, like numerous times, was probably the biggest privilege and biggest compliment I ever received as a fighter in that sport. Yeah, I've won a number of state titles. I won a version of the Australian title, had some I think 11 or 12 internationals, won a Golden Gloves. Like there's some cool stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
But that like sitting on the side of the ring, supporting my fellow fighters in the New South Wales team at different nationals around the country as their captain was just such a privilege, because a lot of those fighters that I was the captain of have gone on to do some really, really special things in the sport, like Jai Apataya, George Kambosos, guys like Daniel Lewis, Josh English. Like there's some really cool fighters. I've probably forgotten a few, like Tim Zhu. Some cool guys when I was the captain of the team or the senior figure in the team that, I was the captain. I'm privileged for that.
Yeah.
So that was probably the best thing that I achieved.
You went into like that epic career of boxing. However, when you're a kid, you were championing ballroom dancing.
Yeah. Well, I could dance.
And
I love
beautifully
dancing.
ballroom.
Yeah.
What a stunner. Yep.
Yeah, Mum got me into that. I wanted to box. When I was younger, but Mum got me into dancing, and I ended up liking it. I loved the music. I was turned out to be pretty good at it. Ended up winning a national championship in it, which is...
I feel like we need like some photos. I feel like everybody needs to see those ballroom dancing
there
photos.
There won't be any photos.
Nah,
they're in the vault, and they're not coming back.
They're so good. I love them.
But that was cool. I think with that, like I was better at the Latin, which is like the samba, the jive, the rumba, the stuff that had like
bit
a
of
rhythm.
rhythm.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That was cool. But I think that helped me develop as a young athlete.
Yeah.
As well, like globally into fighting, soccer, footy, whatever I did, that really helped me.
And you were going to be going to the Olympics and all that sort of stuff, weren't you?
With what?
With boxing and stuff?
Oh, look, I wanted to, but I wasn't good enough.
Why did you get out of boxing?
Like I was obsessed with performance. I still
Yeah.
am obsessed with performance, and
You sort of realised you wanted to help others with it.
yeah, I think like the main thing that moved me into what I do now was the 2012 Olympic trials.
Mm-hmm.
I had a broken hand leading up to that, and then I broke it again in the trials in Tasmania, which, and I've got to make this clear, I did not feel the break in the fight, so the break itself did not affect my performance.
Yeah, you just kept going.
This
Yeah,
was
yeah.
something that I felt after the fight, so it definitely wasn't the reason I lost. I just want to make that clear, because I lost to a
Yeah.
very good fighter. When the results got announced, it was a 1-1 draw. And in boxing, what happens is, when that happens, it goes to a count back. It's pretty rare that a fight finishes off in a draw, but it did finish off in a draw, went to a count back, which is where the judges essentially just go, well, I think it's something to do with the computers, the buttons they press when a punch registers, and he got the result. He progressed through and ended up being the person that got qualified to go to the London Olympics. And I watched that over the next couple of days, and I had to, obviously get my hand done in plaster. And I was, it was a frustrating time for me because I was disappointed. I don't think, looking back, that I was good enough to go at that time, because the fighters there were just, I'd beaten some of them, and some of them I'd had close losses to, but it wasn't for me at that time. But from then, I was out in my second year of uni at the time, and I really needed to focus on that, and that's what I did. I did a Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Science, and then I did a Masters of Clinical Exercise Physiology. Yeah. No, I studied at ACPE and at University in Newcastle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And Charles Sturt University as well.
Yeah.
And I just focused on uni, and I still did keep boxing for a little while because I couldn't quite give it up completely.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was kind of last minute stuff. It was like, hey, Scully, we're going to fight on the weekend. Do you want to fight? And I'd be like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even ask who I was fighting. I'd just fight.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd
Can
win.
do, so you will do. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I'd lose, but then I started, understanding that, or appreciating that boxing isn't just a sport you can play like footy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially once you get to a certain level, everybody that wants to fight you is generally elite. So
Yeah.
you need to give them respect and prepare properly. And so I just thought, if I cannot do it properly, I'm not going to do it at all.
Yeah.
And then, progressed through my uni and
And now you've worked with massive names and stuff in the industry. And, what's been the best highlight of elite coaching? You know what I mean?
I'd have to say my first year was probably my most memorable, and that was with the New South Wales Waratahs, where we, under Michael Checker, who was the coach at the time, great players in that team.
How'd you land that?
That was an internship,
Okay.
a full-time internship. Yeah, I applied. The first year I didn't get it. The second year I did get it, and I just literally got in there and worked my backside off, and we ended up making the final and winning the Super Rugby title for the first time ever in that competition. The Waratahs won. I'll still, never forget that feeling when we won, and sitting in the change room afterwards. And even as an intern, I feel like I had a really good impact in that team, and I still speak to a lot of those players today,
Yeah.
and the coaching staff, and that was just so memorable. From the culture, the week to week, day to day, like the vibe in that place, how hard the players worked, how disciplined they were, how driven they were, and how they were just such good blokes too.
Yeah,
and it was just,
sick.
and I'm very fortunate to have worked with great teams, especially the one I'm working with now. They're great blokes, but
Yeah.
this team was just, this is a really special, and maybe it was because it was my first one as well.
Yeah.
Not many people get to win first up. So
Yeah.
I've been
And
chasing
you would
that
have
ever since.
had an instant connection because it's your first
Yeah.
bunch, and that would have
Yeah.
been so sick.
Yeah. So that was probably the biggest highlight.
After the Waratahs, then where?
So after the Waratahs, I got a job at Cronulla Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there for a year in 2015. Loved it there. That was a sick team. Great staff. And then the Waratahs offered me a really good contract to come back for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I went back to the Waratahs. Within that contract was that I could also go to the World Cup for the Junior Wallabies, the under-20s, and go to Europe and do some cool stuff. And after that, I went to the West Tigers, and then from there to the Newcastle Knights.
So when you go to Newcastle Knights, how did you, like, each time, do you apply for that or do they approach you?
So, bit of both. So what happened at the Newcastle Knights, at the West Tigers, when the coach got the sack, the new coach come in and then cleaned everybody out. So we all kind of got moved on from the Tigers, which is a reality of professional sports, sometimes happens, which was a pretty tough time because that was when Evander came as well.
Yeah.
And then my boss at the time, the performance manager, he ended up getting a role at the Newcastle Knights and he brought me up.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of how things work in professional sport. You kind of stay with a bit of
Your
team.
people.
Yeah, stay with your people, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
And now you're with Newcastle Knights, but for your last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been with Newcastle for 3 years. Obviously, I've got IPerform Lab, which we'll talk to a little bit later, but
when did you decide to finish up?
I reckon it would have been round 11 or round 12.
Yeah.
I was actually going to finish up this year. So we spoke a lot about not going back this season.
Yeah.
Myself and Jade, to focus on the lab. But I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So we said we'd definitely do it after this year. So I told them early on.
Were they shocked to see it coming or they knew? They had a feeling?
Yeah, they were shocked for sure. But I think they weren't surprised.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They probably seen it coming
hindsight,
a little bit.
Yeah. And I wanted to tell them early just to, help give them the opportunity to get someone in because, these jobs are few and far between, so you do get a lot of applicants. But yeah, I told them, I reckon, round 11, round 12, and ever since then, I've just been road mapping my exit. And
Jack's so devo. Jack's like, I can't believe he would give that up. Like, he just doesn't. Now that he's like best friends with Phoenix Crosland, since you did that phone call, that was so sick. Oh my God. He still just talks about that.
He's a cutie.
But he was like, how could he want to give that up? And I was like, well, once you're a parent, it's a bit different and you got to be around. And what about when you took Geordie up? Was that sick?
Oh, yeah, when I took Geordie in the Knights. Yeah, I mean,
They don't know till they know.
Yeah, but now he's like the biggest Kalen Ponga and Phoenix Crossland fan. Loves Dylan Lucas. Met the coach. Loves the coach.
So cute.
I don't think he realises how lucky he is to be able to do that. But
yeah, because Jack still he's older now that he's like he drops it when he can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I literally have my dream job.
Yeah, fully.
Like this is the job that I wanted for so long, and I'm doing it now, and I've just essentially given it away to do something which I feel is even better. But yeah, I'll miss there's a bunch of legends up there, such good crew, and I'll miss it for sure. But
you won't lose them though. You know what I mean? They'll all still stay in touch and all that sort of stuff.
I've done it for a long time,
So you're finishing up with the Knights because of IPerform?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk.
And my family.
Of
and
course,
my family
for sure. That's what I was saying to Jack. I was like...
That's probably the main thing.
Yeah, massive. Like, just so you can be local, that's what I mean. IPerform is local, you know what I mean?
Well,
so it's with your family.
When you're doing a business, it's more than full-time.
Yeah.
And then, pair that with a job like mine. For instance, this week I'll be away for 4 days.
Yeah.
That means the business isn't open.
Yeah.
And it means
Jade's
that
alone.
Jade's alone with my two boys who are
3 years apart.
3 years apart, and they're
little boys.
They're little boys. They're my kids. They're hard.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just away on a footy trip, which I've done for so long now. That I need to be channeling my energy into my family and my business because they complement each other.
Yeah.
But IPerform Lab.
Yeah, tell me why you started it and what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I'm obsessed with performance, and I just want everybody to be the best they can be, whether they're an athlete or whether they're chasing longevity, whatever it is. And
Which you already had IPerform, which was your personal training business, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was, yeah.
And then the lab.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
that's why it's called
Yeah.
IPerform, because I
Yeah.
want someone to say it and they're kind of saying IPerform.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of, using, that sentence to reference themselves.
Yeah.
Basically what we do is we're a modern day lab.
Mm-hmm.
So we bring elite practices in sports science, so that the sports science technology that we use at the elite level to, what we use at the elite level to improve performance and reduce injury risk and make that accessible to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're not just a Kalen Ponga or a Sam Kerr or a LeBron James getting access to this stuff.
Yeah.
So that you can be an aspiring athlete and utilize this stuff to help get you to that level.
Yeah.
Or you might just be a weekend warrior who wants to get the most out of their training.
Yeah.
Things like hip strength, calf strength, groin strength, single leg power, single leg reactive power, overall strength, functional mobility. It basically packages up these elite, practices in sports science and delivers them in a way that can help each individual tailor their training to optimize performance and mitigate the risk of injury. So essentially longevity. Yeah, so we've got some machines in there, some equipment in there. The Vowed technology has built.
Yeah.
It's world-class innovation. We've got things like dual force plates, which measures the force that goes down into these plates, which can tell us a lot about how well you can produce power on each limb, the imbalances, the reactive strength. All these things relate to like speed, agility, jump power, how well you can land and absorb force,
And stop and all that
stuff,
stuff.
which has an impact on your injuries. Things like a force frame, which can look at your hip strength, your hamstring strength, shoulder strength, calf strength, all this stuff that's research backed. Like these are all well established in literature as being gold standard tests in the athletic world.
Yeah.
And the clinical world or allied health world as well. Things like a Nord board, an in-body machine, which looks at body composition. There's so much there and so much that we can do with it that tells you so much about your body. We're like an X-ray place.
Yeah, so you do their testing and then you do up the report for it.
The report, yeah.
And then that goes to
their trainers, their physio. We're like a support service for both physios and personal trainers and strength conditioning coaches.
Yeah.
So you kind of come to us, we'll give you the information, and then we will make our recommendations, and then your coach or your physio or your personal trainer can then go build a program based off the information they're getting from us. So it is a new thing. There's so much innovation that we have in mind, working with workers' comp.
Yeah, of course.
Insurance companies, rehab support for longer term injuries. Some cool stuff. Yeah.
And then JD's obviously the brains behind the business.
She's a CEO essentially. I mean,
man, what's it like to work with your missus?
Yeah, she makes it pretty easy. She's very hard on me.
Yeah.
I'm probably very hard to work with. I like to not get business minded. Like I like to think about the product and just being genuine about making somebody better. I let her take...
you're in doing the thing. And
yeah.
I don't Ollie and I are exactly the same. He doesn't want to deal with anything accounting or anything like that. Whereas...
I don't want money to come into it. I don't want, we need bookings or we need... Not that she does that, but I don't ever want that side of it to blunt my creativity or that creative process of just... I do some weird shit when I'm watching people jump and
when you were first
data.
starting it out, did you just find it hard to navigate that, or did you just slide into it easy? Realistically, because working with your partner,
pretty easy. I mean, there was some, I guess, some tricky conversations, but we're still learning. I had a real clear vision, and then she bought into that vision, and then added to it.
Yeah.
And then now we're just running with it and learning along the way. And I think we both accept that we are going to make mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Fortunately, she's a pretty high flyer in herself. in what she does. She works at the Iconic.
Yeah.
She's pretty high up in HR there. So she's working with creative people, branding, all that type of stuff daily.
Yeah.
So she has some really good ideas.
So she's still doing both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both juggling this.
Yeah.
So,
That's what it is, I reckon. Fuck, that's what people don't realise.
Mate,
People just think if you own a business, you're just
Oh,
lucky as. It's like what we were saying when I was in there. And yeah, people just think you're
Yeah.
rolling in it because you've just got this successful business, but really, and then chuck a couple of kids in the mix. And
Yeah.
you're just fucking, that's all you do.
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, look at what you got. Like, this is a way bigger operation than mine, but I know how tricky our one is, let alone what you're going to do day to day. I mean, yeah, but it's sick.
Yeah.
I love the roller coaster.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
epic.
Yeah. I reckon it's mad.
I reckon that's what I'll miss about footy, the week to week, the pressure.
I feel like you're not going to know, though.
losses.
You're not going to know you're not going to know yourself jumping into, like, coming out of that and then just
Yeah.
focusing on solely that.
Yeah.
Which might flip it. You'll just get busier because you'll be doing this, focusing more, and then.
Yeah, be able to put energy into
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about something I'm dying to get the story about, but out, that we're lasering your tattoo on your arm.
Oh,
And for anybody that doesn't know, that wouldn't know, most of forever, you spelt Scully with a Y, but
Yeah.
it's actually with an I.
Yeah.
So we're lasering the Y to make it an I.
yeah. Yeah, well, the reason is because my dad, shifty Italian, had a few different last names. The family name is Scully with an I. When we were born, it was Scully with a Y, which then meant that it went on my birth certificate and my sister's as well. And it wasn't until later on in life that I realised, hang on, all my cousins and uncles and aunties are spelt with an I.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And then I can remember being really upset about it. So then I always wanted to change it.
When did you find out?
Well, I found out when I was younger, but I guess I just accepted it. And then,
But you got older and you realised that.
well, it was when me
Yeah.
and Jade were going to get married, and I
Yeah.
was really talking about changing it. She's like, look, if you're going to do it before we get married.
Yeah, so we
because-
can do all the paperwork
Yeah.
easier. Yeah.
And that's what I did. But I was 18 when I got this tattoo,
Yeah.
and this tattoo's with the Y. So
Yeah.
I've kind of, been wanting to adjust that for a while, and we've had one laser treatment, and we need to have a couple more, and that's why.
How did you like the laser?
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
fine.
good. Easy.
Pain level, fine, perfect.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't comfortable, but it's
How good?
Simple.
Was
really
it,
good.
Was it what you expected?
No,
Yeah.
I don't really know what I was expecting, but yeah, it was so easy. Like, we just went in there, fired up the machine, gave it a couple of whacks, and then we're done. Needs to go. I mean,
Oh, it's lined up heaps.
it's
For
it's
one
good.
session, yeah. All right, let's talk about parenting. We've touched on it, but anyway. But you're a dad now. How do you think that becoming a parent and all that has changed anything for you?
Yeah, I actually went through a little bit a couple of years after my first one because I was going through a bit of vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
And this manifested itself into me being really anxious about dying and having
hectic.
something really seriously wrong with me. And I had
And you don't reckon you should ever try therapy?
I had I had to have brain scans and blood tests and all this stuff. And I think it was because I was so worried that I would not be there to look after my kid, or that I'd let him down, or Geordie, my first one.
I still get like that. Jack's 12.
Yeah.
I still definitely get like that.
I never really had
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
before.
If I feel sick or
It could be something. What is it?
Google doctoring, I'm the worst.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I get really bad headaches, or when I was fainting a fair bit, I was just getting so paranoid. And I reckon I think what made me feel the worst
Yeah.
was, I lost my dad, so I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thought of, if Jack lost me, I know what he's like when he misses me when I go on a holiday. And I'm just then I'd
Got
go
it,
into my
yeah.
head and I'd just go down a fucking rabbit hole and
Yeah.
be like, oh my God.
I can resonate with that for sure.
Yeah.
That probably, and I guess to answer your question, it just made me realise how I have someone that relies on me a lot. I've got to set good examples, and I don't set the best examples all the time.
We're still learning.
But yeah. But even as Geordie's getting older and Evander as well, I see them doing little things that I do. So
In that hectic, eh?
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
It doesn't feel like it was that long ago that we were kids.
Oh.
And now we're parents and responsible for these little things, but you watch them and
Yeah.
you're like, you're just doing what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hectic, eh?
I'm so proud to be a
Yeah.
dad. Like, I love my two little boys, and yeah, I just everything I do is about them and Jade. Like, they are the centerpiece to every decision that I make. They are like my compass. They're everything to me. That's probably what changed, like, my family. And I remember Troy was very much like that with his family.
So family.
And I can really understand that.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel. Yeah, I'd do anything for my family, for sure.
Yeah. And plus, like, even now, you were saying how you went into a spiral about, like, when you first had Geordie, but then, fuck, that would have been terrifying when you had Evander and all of that stuff when he came. So he came 10 weeks early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was hectic.
Looking back on it, it was probably Jade that was at the most risk. Like, she hemorrhaged.
That's what I mean. If you think about, like, your family, like, that
is... Yeah, man. That was... Whoa.
Watching her go through that, holy shit.
So she had placenta previa, which I think a lot of people have. I think it's where the placenta's blocking the...
Is in front.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was like... It was a really bad version, a really high level of it. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening is she ended up having some bleeds, and
just spotting it first, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then bigger, and then they stopped, and then they just kind of erupted one night, and then we went into hospital, and then it just stopped, and then it just did it again. And when that last time that...
Was she in pain, or was she just...
No, not necessarily.
Yeah. She was just like, I'm bleeding.
But yeah, all that I remember at this time was that I went to get her a bottle of water when we were in the hospital, and I come back into the room, and I remember these alarms and that were going off. Yeah. Everyone was running in, and the doctor just said to me, she won't be having that. And he said, look at me. He said, a lot of people are going to come running in right now. He said it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, but just know she's in good hands. And everything will be okay. And then I just seen her. Oh, this is pretty hectic. But I just seen her being driven down the corridor with everyone like literally they were running, and I was just there with this bottle of water, just like I just didn't even know what to do. And then they just took me to this waiting room. They come in a couple of hours later, and they said, "We've got the baby out. He didn't breathe straight away, but he's breathing. He's in like all those, the little crib where he's got all the wires and all that. Yeah. Jade's getting some surgery. She lost a lot of blood. And that was all they told me. And I was sitting in there just thinking, and then they took me.
What just happened?
I said, can I see the baby? Like, it's like, and then I just seen this baby getting wheeled down. Like, they didn't stop.
Tubed up,
wheeled down. Like, because he needed to get more tubes and stuff. And then I ended up going into this little kitchen waiting room part in Gosford Hospital, and I was just there. I videoed myself talking. I think it was about 3:00 in the morning, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm in a room. I'm waiting for someone to come and tell me. There was really bad weather that night. He was meant to get helicoptered to Royal North Shore, but they couldn't, so they needed to do him by road. And they took him and Jade down there, transport him down there in an ambulance.
Did you go in the ambulance with them?
No, they told me because I had Geordie. Yeah. Well, Geordie was with his nana, so I had to go kind of get him kind of sorted, and then I went down and met them.
Fuck. What a drive.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then he was in the NICU, and I remember the first time I seen him, like couldn't really hold him or anything.
Yeah, it was super confronting.
Super confronting, yeah, it was nuts. But Jade's probably going to hear this, and hope it doesn't bring up anything, but it was pretty nuts. And it was more nuts for her looking back.
Yeah.
He was probably always going to be okay, because there were babies in there that were like 22, 24 weeks.
Yeah, tiny, like handful.
But the things that those hospitals can do now, But Jade, like, she lost over half, like, her body volume of blood and that. So that was, she was in a bad way.
Yeah, fuck.
So I was, that was nuts, man.
How long did her recovery take?
She's probably still recovering.
but
No, it took
physically.
I
in there.
think like months.
And did you stay down there for the whole 10 weeks?
We were in the NICU for I think 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we come up and did or maybe 6 weeks, and then we come up and did the last 2 weeks at Gosford when he didn't need CPAP,
Everything,
like
yeah.
the breathing
tube,
support.
yeah.
When he didn't need that, that's when we come up to Gosford.
Oh, my goodness.
But he's a little legend now. He's
Yeah.
nuts, man. He's a knucklehead.
Yeah, that's
Wouldn't
why
even
it's
know
like
it.
you'd tell people the story and they would have no idea.
Yeah, he's a proper knucklehead. Yeah.
Because it's just something you're so unprepared for.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't learn about that stuff. I feel like not many people talk about that stuff. So when there is a complication, you kind of just... Like, I had complications with Jack. It just was not what you expect.
The thing is, too, like, you're in that moment, and I remember being in the hospital, Jade was in surgery, and Evander's getting transferred, and he's, come at 29 or 30 weeks, and nuts. But then you hear about so many other people that have been through similar things, and it's kind of like you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember walking into the NICU at Royal North Shore, and there's all these pictures up on the wall.
Yeah, man.
These stories of like pre and post. Like 2 to 3 years later, they'll show, how well, a young kid is now doing after what they were being through, what they'd been through, and I remember seeing all that, thinking, oh, like this is. It's not just me. This has happened before. And there's been some good outcomes. And then you speak to people, and it's not like you kind of get out of that poor me. Like there's other people
it's just a shock when you're in it, though.
Yeah, when you're in it, yeah.
To watch Jade go through that would have been terrifying.
Yeah, that was nuts. She's a tough chick. Yeah.
That
big
is
time.
fucking
Way
hectic.
tougher than me, that's for sure. I had to go get the snip, and I was petrified like a little girl, but.
Ollie's probably the same. He's fucked to get him to get a blood test. He'll go white just mentioning it. He can't even...
Now, Jay would just get... She wouldn't even stop a conversation and get a needle.
Looking back at your whole journey, what are you most proud of about yourself or anything?
Will, integrity, just a never give up mindset. Yeah, discipline, honesty. Honesty is a big one, actually, because Mum always taught me, don't ever let anybody treat you with disrespect. Right from when I was got my first job right through to now, and I still carry that with me, and it's probably got me into trouble at different times, but be kind to people is really important. And I have this, I don't know if it's a chip on my shoulder, but it doesn't matter if you're the CEO, you're the head coach, or you've got a higher status. If someone is talking to me or someone I care about with disrespect, I'll stand up and say it. And if there's something that I believe in, I'll also stand up and say it. I won't just sit there and appease the conversation just to keep the peace. I just don't think that's just not me.
Yeah.
That honesty and integrity and just not letting people treat you with disrespect is a big thing.
And you stood up for me a fair bit.
Yeah.
Had my back a fair bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's just...
Yeah. Do you reckon how you said that you get it from your mum about the never give up and how your mum's always said that?
Yeah.
Have you ever brought that up with your mum and said to her that she gave you that mentality?
Yeah, well...
Thanked her for it?
No, it was the... it was the don't ever let anyone call
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever said that to her, but I probably should. Yeah.
I reckon after this, give her a call and just... From one mum to another.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Fuck, it would make her day.
It's made a massive impact in my life. Like I said,
I reckon after this, give her a call and just be like, Mum, I just want to thank you.
Probably
for that.
won't do it straight after this.
Well, today or someday soon.
All right.
Do it for your mum.
All right.
All right. Any advice for any other young people going through hard times or trying to achieve their goals or anything like that?
If you're going through hard times, just know that you're not alone and speak up about it. But in terms of going for your goals and maybe having some roadblocks or whatnot, just trust your stuff and be the best you can be every day. That's one thing that really sticks with me. Be the best you can be every day. It sounds like a bit of a cliche, but if you be the best you can be every day at everything that you're doing, it doesn't mean that you need to be the best at everything. It just means you're putting your best foot forward. Then you're gonna you're going to increase. You're going to get somewhere in life. You're capable of more than what you think. I know that firsthand. Like,
all right, well, that's it. So thank you to Aaron for coming in and getting on the podcast, for being so open, for being so talking about your successes and also being real and honest about the personal stuff. So from everything from the boxing ring to the Newcastle Knights training ground, from Gold Coast to Sydney to Central Coast, you've definitely proven that with some heart and some discipline and strength that you can change the path of somebody's life massively. So if you want to know anything about Aaron and you want to follow him along, check out the show notes, but you can find him on Instagram for the IPerform Lab, which the Instagram is...
Yeah, IPerform_lab.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. Anything else in the show notes? But yeah, thanks for coming, baby.
Thank you.